Hi folks, and welcome not to the plot, but to wet and windy and wonderful Wales. I am in Wales, and some of you might recognise this very large polytunnel behind me. I wonder how many of you have figured it out instantly and instantly gone, Wales, I know where JB is. If you don't know, you'll know soon, but I thought today I would just pick up the camera really quickly and just give you a little tiny snapshot of what I'm up to, because I am over the moon. I am so completely and utterly excited. You might be able to see two characters actually doing some work in the distance while I recreate and film this little video. But behind me, you can see we have been making absolutely amazing progress on a kind of a shrubbery, like a shelter belt. And as you can see, I am on a massive patch of land. And if you haven't figured this out yet, this is Liz Zorab's By the Farm. If you haven't seen Liz's channel, what are you doing? You need to go and subscribe right now. The challenge of filming today is that it's very wet, so we're running for cover. And I'm going to be back with another proper update. It's hopefully a little bit drier. Otherwise, this video is going in the bin. We are back. We've had a nice little break, nice tea break, and the weather has relented just for a little bit. But what I really wanted to do was just talk about how amazing it is to be here today. I visited Liz a few times before, and it's always a great laugh. But this time of year, it's just such a good, you kind of see the bones of a garden, you know, and you hear people say that all the time. I'm just saying that as well. And it's just so cool seeing the potential, because Liz only moved here a few seasons ago. She's done so much so quickly, but it's still got such a long way to go. So for example, we're kind of in a field here, the food forest. There's a really nice rose arch behind me here, and all around the fencing, she's had all this rabbit fencing installed to keep the bunnies out, and all of that has been planted with kind of mixed species hedging. And in just a few years, it's so exciting to think about what this is going to look like as a space in just a few years. And today we are working on this shrubbery, which is kind of like an ornamental mix, but it's also going to act as a shelter belt and refuge for wildlife as well. Liz has lots of kind of permaculture design ideas. And one of the ways that you deal with pests that is just so effective is making a home for lots of wildlife that predates on the pests. And the thing that is really crazy about this project is the sheer scale, but also Liz's attitude. I have never met a more laid-back gardener, and she's been having a bit of a tough time recently. She's had COVID, and that's one of the reasons that me and Niall have come up today to kind of help her out and just get stuck into this. I know you're recording. Yeah. We have done so much so quickly. It's one of those things where many hands really do make light work. But just the scale and the bravery of Liz taking on this massive piece of land, it's just completely inspiring. You know, when you compare the scale of something like this to my tiny little allotment, it's just they're not even comparable, you know, and it's really helped me over the years as I've become closer to Liz to change my mentality around gardening. And she talks a lot about the garden being a space to enjoy, and you will have seen me talking about a very similar thing. And I don't think I quite realised, but that has come from Liz and from reading some of her amazing books like Grounded. She's got a new one, I'll put a link in the description, because she's got a new one on the way out soon that I've been very lucky to have a little read through, and it's just brilliant. Her books are just brilliant. The voice that she writes in, it's just great. And I'm just gushing. I'm just completely gushing about what an amazing place this is to visit and experience. I feel very, very lucky. And it's just so incredible to have a little piece of me here. You know, like, I know that I'm going to be able to come back and visit this and see it change over the years and go, I planted that. I remember that. And this is just such a really interesting mix of ornamentals. It's not something I have experience with. I absolutely do not know what I'm planting. Liz is very much pointing, going, that there, and I am more than happy to oblige. Hi folks, I'm interrupting myself because I realised as I was editing this video, in my frantic excitement and desperation to try and film clips in between the rain and the drizzle. There are a few things I forgot to mention, and the main thing is that Liz has done a video on this strawberry. I will link it in the description, and please do go and watch it. It's a genuinely wonderful video, and I'm not just saying that because I helped out. It's really beautifully shot, and Liz goes into much more detail about the design and the ideas behind it. I guess a kind of abridged version is that the whole thing is for winter colour and winter fragrance as well. It's meant to be something that attracts you out into the garden in the depths of winter, when it's quite difficult and challenging to get out in the garden sometimes. So like I say, all the links in the description, and now we'll go back to the video. And to be honest with you, ornamental gardening is probably never going to be my strong suit. I'm never going to need to know about these kind of species that are going in. But what is really just amazing to see is Liz's attitude, and that's really where I'm learning the lesson. I've definitely become a lot more chilled in the garden over the past few months, and the more I think about it, the more kind of crazy it is to me how stressed out I used to be about the garden and about the allotment, and it's really unnecessary. Most of that stress comes from within and the pressures that you put on yourself. And the other brilliant thing about Liz's move to this new by the farm is that it's not gone particularly smoothly. There have been all sorts of problems in the garden that Liz has just kind of bounced off. You know, she's just rebounded and just really shrugged her shoulders. She doesn't get super stressed out about it. She just learns a lesson and moves on. And it's so refreshing to see. She doesn't really get in her head about the garden. She just knows what she needs to do, and she'll get it done eventually. That's always the thing as well. It will get done eventually. You don't need to stress out, and that's kind of part of what I'm going to be trying to put into some of the messages about, you know, the beginner allotment for the new series and that kind of thing. It's about really creating a space that you can enjoy, and one of the things that does make it kind of easy to enjoy is the amazing landscape that this is situated in. So I really do need to get back to work. You can see we've just laid out, I didn't do this, but we've just laid out a new kind of sheet, and it's such a good tool for when you've got these big areas, you know, that you need to do landscaping projects on. It's so good. It's going to have wood chip on it. Eventually it's going to naturalize and look much nicer. But I hope you've enjoyed just this little snapshot into my visit to By the Farm. It's so good. We very rarely get to see each other, so it's just so amazing getting to spend time with garden friends. You know, it's so rare that I get to do it. I'm just having an amazing time. So thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and a special thank you to my Chili Pepper tier patrons. Hopefully I'll see you again next time.